Hello to all my fellow dog and cat lovers. I'm Nina Lee Kruger, CEO of Nestle Purina Pet Care, and these are my two dogs, Guinness and Caffrey. Welcome to this session of Pet Week on Capitol Hill, where pet lovers and policymakers come together to celebrate pets and to work together to advance the lives of pets and their people. At Purina, our passion for pets includes making sure that pets and people are able to stay together even in the most difficult times. Purina is proud to work with trusted partners on a range of important pet causes, including the Purple Leash Project, which creates pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so abuse survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Youth mental health programs, including touch therapy dogs, that use the power of pets to help children in need of a four-legged furry friend. And the Purina Dog Chow Service Dog Salute, which helps provide trained service dogs to military veterans with PTSD at no cost to veterans. Today, Purina has invited a few of our expert partners to help shine a spotlight on the urgent need for more trained service dogs for military veterans living with PTSD. You'll now hear how a well-trained service dog can make a life-saving difference for so many veterans. The need for more trained service dogs is urgent, but as you'll hear from the experts, the public and private sectors are working together to make a meaningful difference. Pet Week is a great reminder of the many ways pets make our lives richer. Now let's turn it over to Steve Feldman, president of HABRI.
Thank you so much, Nina Lee, for those kind words and for setting us up for a really important Pet Week session. I'm Steve Feldman, president of the Human Animal Bond Research Institute, and I'm so pleased to welcome you to this session entitled PTSD Service Dogs on a Mission to Save Lives. We have some amazing special guests for you. I'm going to call on Nicole Lanahan, who runs an amazing organization called Got Your Six Support Dogs out of Illinois, and Dr. Jeremy Ramirez. He's a U.S. Army veteran. He's at California State Long Beach, and he does really important research on the effectiveness of these service dog programs. So let's dive right into the questions. Nicole, I really want to start with you. So you run Got Your Six Support Dogs. It's such an important mission that you have for our veterans. Talk to us about just what you do and why it's so important that we get more service dogs for our veterans with post-traumatic stress.
Absolutely. So we at Got Your Six Support Dogs, we train and place PTSD service dogs with veterans and first responders at no cost to the recipient. And this is so important because PTSD is a serious mental health issue for many United States veterans. It's estimated that 20 veterans take their own lives every day. And for many of them, a well-trained service dog could be a life-changing situation. So to put it in perspective, the Department of Defense reports that the casualty rate in combat is 1.5 lives per day. This means that veterans are 14 times more likely to die from suicide due to PTSD at home than in combat. And around 3.5 million military veterans struggle with PTSD. And service dogs have been proven to reduce the severity of PTSD symptoms and suicidal behaviors.
Wow, that really puts the issue in the right light and why it's so important. And speaking of why it's important, let me bring you into this conversation, Dr. Ramirez. You study the effectiveness of these programs. You study why this is so important for our veterans. So I want this to be a two-part question because this is often an invisible disability. What is it that these dogs are trained specifically to do for our veterans? And then talk about why you study that and what your research shows.
Yes, thank you. First, I really just want to say thank you for this opportunity and for shining a light on this critical issue. But to answer your question, more than a dozen research studies alongside my own at Johns Hopkins University, as well as from the VA's own studies, have all consistently demonstrated that most veterans who are paired with trained service dogs experience and benefit from lower symptoms of PTSD. These service dogs are more than just companions. They provide life-changing skills that can make a profound difference in a veteran's daily life. For instance, these highly trained dogs are capable of performing compression therapy during anxiety attacks. They're also trained to recognize and interrupt harmful behaviors, which can be particularly important in moments of a mental health crisis. Additionally, these service dogs play an important role in waking veterans from night terrors. In public settings, these dogs create a spatial buffer, which helps veterans navigate spaces that might otherwise feel too overwhelming. But perhaps one of the most profound impacts that these service dogs have is in providing opportunities for reteaching veterans emotions such as love and affection, which we understand can be dulled by the constant weight of PTSD. And I can't tell you the number of times that I've interviewed veterans who, after receiving service animal assistance, can now be more of the spouse, father, or mother that they wish they could be, but PTSD has just made it so difficult. But now they have an opportunity to actually move forward and reclaim their life and the enthusiasm of each day. So the data does clearly show that veterans with service dogs experience not only reduced depression, but also increased social participation when compared to those veterans who rely solely on traditional clinical care for PTSD. And this speaks to the transformative power of these animals in helping veterans reclaim their lives. So it's also important to highlight that PTSD service dogs are distinct from emotional support or therapy dogs. PTSD service dogs undergo extensive training to perform specific tasks that directly mitigate the symptoms of their handler's disability. Because of the vital roles that they play, these dogs are protected under the ADA, ensuring that they can accompany their handlers wherever they go, providing constant and critical support.
It's really important for our audience to understand what these dogs do and why it's so important. And so we've established that the research shows how important these animals are for us. So back over to you, Nicole. How do we make sure that the veterans who need these animals can get them? Fewer, I know there's a few organizations that, including yours, that provide these dogs, but can you keep up? Are there enough dogs coming into veterans' hands so that they can get this life-saving help?
That is a really, really great question. And the unfortunate reality is the need is way more than what the organizations that exist right now can possibly fill. And the reason for that are the challenges of the cost and time. Training a service dog can take between 1.5 to 2.5 years. And depending on the tasks the dogs are training to perform, the cost behind that can go anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 per dog. And while that's a significant investment, the benefits these dogs provide are truly extraordinary and life changing. There are other hurdles too, like the lack of awareness about the incredible benefits a trained service dog can provide and the stigma that often surrounds mental health issues. So, support from the VA, along with partners like Purina Dog Chow, can make a real difference in getting more service dogs to the veterans who desperately need them.
Well, all right. So you mentioned our wonderful session sponsors from Purina. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Purina Service Dog Salute?
Yes, absolutely. It's my pleasure. Uh, we are incredibly lucky at Got Your Six Support Dogs because we receive support from Purina Dog Chow, and we're grateful for the support that we've received over the past 6 years in raising awareness about the life-saving benefits of PTSD service dogs and what they do for our veterans. So the Service Dog Salute program launched in 2018. And since then, Dog Chow has donated $1.2 million to service dog organizations across the country. And this funding helps care for and train more service dogs for veterans with PTSD at no cost to the veterans. Dog Chow has also made significant food donations, played a key role in recruiting congressional sponsors for the Pause for Veterans Therapy Act, and most importantly, continues to use its platform to highlight real stories of veterans who have benefited from these service dogs. Their efforts help educate the public on why these specialized dogs should be available to every veteran with a demonstrated need.
That's absolutely amazing. And we're so grateful to the efforts of Purina and to Got Your Six. All right, Dr. Ramirez, you actually do some work with the Wounded Warrior Service Dog Project. Tell us a little bit about that and the work that you do.
Yes, I'm incredibly honored to serve in a leadership role with the Wounded Warrior Service Dog Program as a program integrator, which allows me to bridge the gap between research policy and practical application. So our primary focus is on evaluating and improving more than 100 best practice training guidelines for service dogs that assist disabled service members and veterans with PTSD and other related conditions. So this involves close collaboration with about 23 service dog training organizations who are located across the country, and they've helped me gather a large volume of information on existing training practices, essentially what works well and what are the opportunities for improvement for these guidelines. So my work involves analyzing this data with the help of an expert advisory team, which includes researchers from leading institutions such as Johns Hopkins University and the University of Central Florida, as well as clinical psychologists from the Veterans Health Administration. So together, we're assessing these insights to develop evidence-based guidelines that ensure service dogs are trained to a defined standard of quality and meet the specific needs of our veterans. So the ultimate goal of this work is to increase the availability of well-trained service dogs to veterans who need them most. And by refining these best practice guidelines and advocating for their adoption across the service dog training industry, we're working to ensure that more veterans have access to service dogs that provide critical support. So whether it's through helping veterans manage anxiety, reduce symptoms of PTSD, or improve their overall quality of life, I'm proud to say that the Wounded Warrior Service Dog Program is a project that's really far-reaching. So through these efforts, I'm confident that we can make a significant and positive impact on the lives of disabled service members and veterans, helping them to regain a sense of normalcy, confidence, and connection as they navigate life after service.
So important that we do more to get well-trained service dogs to a high standard with the veterans that really need them. And so you mentioned the word advocacy, and so this is going to be a question for both of you. We'll start with you, Nicole. What do you want? What change do you want to see in the world? We have folks on Capitol Hill watching. We have the general public watching. We probably have some veterans who are interested in having a service dog watching. Maybe we have some mental health providers who want to learn more. So we've got a lot of people watching us right now. In the private sector, we've seen efforts. In the public sector, we've seen efforts. So it's a big question. What changes do you most want to see so that we can save more lives by getting service dogs to the people who need them?
Oh my goodness, this is a topic I could go on and on and on about, but I will keep it short. Really, we would love to see more legislation and policy support. And this means passing legislation that mandates that PTSD service dogs should be covered by healthcare plans, including those provided by the VA. This would make these dogs more accessible and highlight their therapeutic value. We'd love to see more grants and funding for organizations to train and place PTSD service dogs. And we'd love a public awareness campaign that could raise awareness through advertisements and social media. As far as the private sector, we would love partnerships between not only government healthcare agencies, but also public mental health healthcare agencies to promote the use of service dogs. And we'd love more corporate sponsorships and more visibility in the media and entertainment industry. But I'm always happy to start small, and definitely for whoever is listening, we would just love to continue the conversation.
Nicole, before I forget, make sure you share all the web links with us.
Yes, it is www.gotyoursixsupportdogs.org. And for more information about the Purina Dog Chow's commitment to supporting our military veterans, please go to www.dogchow.com/service.
All right. And we'll make sure that we put some resources about all of this on the petnight.com website. All right. Dr. Ramirez, same big question. What change do you want to see?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Nicole, and if I had to pinpoint one thing that could truly make a difference, it would be a more robust partnership between public and private sectors, particularly that focus on expanding federal funding and creating supportive national legislation. So currently, Nicole touched on this, the demand for training service dogs far exceeds the supply. Now, federal funding plays a key role in subsidizing these costs, but unfortunately, it does not reach the the scale that's needed to meet the growing mental health need of our veterans. So we do have a significant need to increase federal funding dedicated specifically to training PTSD service dogs, which can also be paired with incentives for private organizations to contribute to this cause. On that note, I want to recognize and commend Purina for its remarkable efforts through initiatives like the Dog Chow Service Dog Salute program. But just to wrap up, by bringing together the resources and influence of public and private sectors, we can make a more significant impact, ensuring that every veteran in need of a service dog can access one. So this collaborative approach would not only heighten awareness, but also create a more sustainable pathway to meet the needs of our veterans who've already given so much in service to our country. Thank you.
Dr. Ramirez, that's an inspirational way for us to, we could go on, but I think we should end on those inspirational words. And I hope everybody listening finds a way to really contribute to those public-private partnerships so that the veterans can really get the help they need. So thank you so much, Dr. Jeremy Ramirez. Thank you so much, Nicole Lanahan and Got Your Six, and all the important work that you do. And thank you so much to Nina Lee Kruger from Purina for your wonderful remarks as well, and for sponsoring this important session for petweek.com. Thank you all. We're really grateful that Purina sponsored this Pet Week session, and we're thankful to all of our Pet Week sponsors who made this week of programming possible. Remember, you can look at all of our sessions at petnight.com and on the Habry Facebook page. And you know what? Let's end our session with some inspiring words from our friends at the Purina Dog Chow Service Dog Salute.
For the more than 6 million military veterans who struggle with PTSD or another invisible post-combat challenge, service dogs can offer life-changing benefits that no other therapy can.
Every time I have an anxiety attack, she senses and she'll come on top of me and start breathing, and I'll start petting her, and that helps me calm down.
I have really bad night terrors. And so basically with her, I'm able to give her control of taking care of me while I'm asleep. And that's been a really powerful thing.
He keeps me on a schedule, and he gets me out of the house and has helped make my life worth living again.
Unfortunately, less than 1% of individuals who need a service dog are able to get one each year. Dog Chow is on a mission to change that. Find out how you can help at dogchow.com/vets. Because even heroes need heroes.